interested in something else. There's just a dip, 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 dip. That's what consonants are to a singer. They're the cousin at the, you know, at the reunion, like.
Or that would be me.
We're like the cousin with no social filter.
No social filter.
Yeah, no social filter. So just, you know that they're there, but just notice everybody else instead, because it's actually the whole party is there, not just that one cousin. Okay?
Okay.
So consonants, they're just a person at the entire show. Okay?
Yeah.
It's like that person behind you at the theater that keeps talking.
Did you want to turn around and
You're trying to watch the film. Or a popcorn tooth. Popcorn shell in your tooth.
Yeah.
You can't stop playing with. You've got a lot of other teeth that are being neglected.
Yeah, that's what the dentist said. Okay, here we go. Less intensity on the P's.
So the P's, if they're getting in your way, okay? Remember the P is up here, right? It's not even a P. It doesn't have to be a hard percussion. It's off the kissable part of the lips. It's a pick Now I get you to sing that. That's all it needs. Okay? And so it's not stopping your piccolo, because when you stop the air with the labial consonants, there's this effect that comes right after. Piccolo, piccolo, pic. There's that white space that's created right after it. Piccolo, and there's a little stutter in the vowel. Protect the vowel. If you're going woo woo woo, just add enough to make it puh puh puh. Okay? Just keep the flow going right through it.
And the next one that wants to trip you up is that C.
Yeah, with the tongue, with the pound coming down.
Yeah.
Piccolo.
Piccolo.
Hairball.
Hairball. Or,
Yeah.
you know, kaim. The kaim.
Piccolo.
Yeah.
Kaim. Piccolo. It's almost that.
1, 2, ready, and.
Good. Feel your blue. Right. Keep the feeling and That one. Ah, ah. Which one has more color?
The second one. It's round.
I rest my case, yes. It's like, you know, it's like you're an astronaut. It's astronaut. You got your helmet. My dad used to sing me this little lullaby. He used to say, with the red tucked underneath her arm, she walks the bloody tower. With the red tucked underneath her arm at the midnight hour. Along the dusty corridors for miles and miles she goes. She often catches cold, poor thing, for it's drafty when it blows. And she finds it very hard when she goes to blow her nose. With a red tucked underneath her arm. It's Anne Boleyn, right?
Oh, with the
And then he's like, good night, sweetie. So I always think of like when I need width in the sound, for some reason I think of that little song.
Put your head underneath your arm.
Red tucked underneath her arm.
Anyway, okay.
I want to hear about her dreams tomorrow.
You will be leaving us. You won't get to
You
hear.
know, next time I gotta stay right on through to Tuesday.
Yeah, there you go.
Follow
Yeah,
up.
yeah. That'd be a good idea. Chromatic. Mary. Mary. There you go. Mary. Start right. Think about
So play
Mary.
the 1 and the 5. Where you're starting on?
Yes, yes.
All your notes have to have some color of this in it. Just audiate it in your head, not out loud, just hear it. All the colors north. All the colors north. Mary had a little lamb, its fleece was white as snow. Okay, it's the top part that we're missing, right?
Yeah.
So let's go back to that one. We were almost there.
Yeah.
But we faked it up here because we realized we weren't close enough.
Yeah.
So Mary had a little lamb. We're good? It's nice. Clash. So the as, you don't want to clash it that much. Let it really clash more than that. And start from its. Please. Who's singing? Please, please, please. Okay, you're playing with the bingo ball here. Now, this is all bingo ball. It's and. The top. Let it clash, sing right up into the top color.
top note, please.
Hey?
Okay, without that, you're in your head. Okay, now let's keep it coming back now. Easy does it. Good. We fudged just a tiny
We
little bit.
did. You know where it was? It's coming down. You realized after the fifth,
Yes.
gravity took over. Just as the opposite has to go, the top half going up needs that extra. The bottom half, you need more diligence to like spin on the top as well, right? Interesting, hey?
Find our tracks.
Somewhere around the middle, we just kind of get lazy. Yeah, we got this. That's what I think happens.
Yeah.
Either going up, yeah, we got this, and we forget to pay attention and be mindful. And on the way down, it's like, yeah, we got this, we're almost home. It's like when you're home, all the accidents happen like in 10 miles at home.
That is true, that's.
Same is true musically.
That's a proven statistic.
Gotta stay in the moment.
And you take it out with half spin. Whole new sound set now.
We're just hearing other chords.
Oh, you're just hearing other songs.
Yeah, we're hearing
going
different
through your
chords.
head.
Just give them the nice root 5 and just let them audiate it once all the way through. Do it on your own in your ear. Not out loud. No, I don't want to hear anything from you guys. That's cheating. Hey. I heard somebody sneak one in there.
It came out like.
You weren't the only one.
Okay, very good.
Sounds slow.
Where is that inside here?
What you hear in your ear.
No, no, no.
You know where we lost it?
As.
Go again on the 5. And? Listen before you sing. Notice how here's the note that you're hearing. It's in motion and you actually need to start singing there. Got it? And? hear the difference? So you try to bring the weight up with you. You can't. Mary. You have to have a new relationship to the top side of that bingo ball every single time. Mary. That requires a different relationship in your voice. Then the Mary had a. If you're trying to sing it in the same place, instead of let it change as it goes through the scale, and let that lightness, that breadth and depth inside the lower resonant, if you don't let that slowly shift all the way through the scale, you're bringing up too much of the weight from your lower resonance into your upper resonance. It's like clutch and gas on a car. Every centimeter is a different relationship in your body, and you've got to let it Tai Chi its way up to that kind of lightness that's required for your upper register from your lower register. You can't just go, I'll bring the same weight up and then suddenly try to switch it. Right? Let your ear be patient, and let your body feel those transitions from note to note. Okay? To spin more and more and more on the top of that ball. Ready? And hear yourself in relationship to this. That color's got to be one of the colors in here. Nice. Doesn't it? Get used to it. You sing those all the time in barbershop. If you master this here, your ear will always know what to do. Ready? One more time. And. intervals. There are consonant intervals and dissonant intervals.
Consonant, not as C, K, and G, but
Consonant as in agreement.
in agreement, right?
Your
Okay.
consonant intervals are going to be your third, your fourth, sorry, third, fifth, fourth. Can you hear how those are? 1, 2, 3. You can hear they're very happy and in agreement.
Yes.
Those are consonant intervals, okay? Your fourth and your fifth are perfect intervals. You can feel there's something just, you can bite those, right? A little less consonant, but still train horny, you know? It's consonant, but you can feel that there's just a little color to it. Dissonant. Is that not the hallmark of barbershop, though? Dissonance. That same dissonance, that's your leading tone up to do, ti, do. That's do, ti. You're going to have that leading tone, ti, do, also between 4, 5. Feel 3, 4. That's a semitone. So is ti, do. 3, 4, 7, 1. Okay, leading tones always need you to sing up in to the next note because they want to resolve up. They always want to resolve up. So, Mary had wants to resolve to that. And if you're singing a suspension, it wants to live there and just land on the top of that one. Feel that lift in that? It's begging for that to come next, right? So that your ear draw you into those things. So you've got consonant and dissonant intervals. If you can master how it feels in your ear to hear a consonant interval and a dissonant consonant interval and dissonant intervals. And clash, 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 clash. Somewhere in between consonant and dissonant. If you can master how that feels in your ear, you're going to be able to tune anything that you want. If you're not afraid of those feelings, but you have to study the relationship between the two, and like, yeah, I get that, I feel that. And it's literally, you got to sit in it on the piano until it's like, you know, when you put your foot under the hot water tap in the bathtub and it's so hot it feels cold for a second, until it just, you can't distinguish, like, am I hearing this, am I not hearing this? And just stay in it until you feel the role of each one of those notes. Because when you hear that coming around you from another voice, you're going to know how to treat it. Instead of, because usually when you clash, you're going to try to shy away from it, or you'll get sucked into it.
Yeah.
You know, those are the two options that we have. But how do you hold your own? You got to train these to get used to. Agreement, it's got to sound like it's got consonant agreement. When it's consonant agreement, it's got to sound, it's got the right kind of clash. When it's got the right kind of clash. So you can just do this by yourself on the piano. It's really, and when your ear's like, oh yeah. Because what makes music interesting is tension and release. And that's what makes barbershop so compelling, is we get these, and then bursts into this consonant chord, and then this dissonant chord, and then this constant clash, and isn't that the drama of life? Right? So we gotta learn to enjoy that. So that's what we get as a result. We get the contrast. So you gotta be able to play inside your contrasts.
That's loving the flirt, right?
Yeah.
Loving the one.
Loving the
Flirt.
flirt,
You
yeah.
brought up Spock ears, so I was
Yeah.
feeling like Spock ears on the one and then
Yeah.
troll ears on the other.
There you go. There you go. See, whatever, you know what? Whatever works for you to get that concept, that's fantastic. Good one.
Ms. Cronin, this is something we talked about this morning in our sectional about how singing tags has really helped someone like me where barbershop is still new. When I hear those things, they're not comfortable for me because I didn't grow up singing that way. So it's very helpful that we've been doing those because they're starting to feel more normal, for lack of a better word.
You
We're a barbershop, or we're never normal.
Right. Which is why I
Full
fit in
stop.
really well.
You gotta think of yourself, when you hear like a motivational speaker, or somebody who's really compelling as a speaker, and they're just like laying all their dirt out there, and you're like, God, it takes a lot of courage to do that, or whatever. What is so compelling about that person?
Well, that they're not perfect, that they have tried to deal with their imperfections. I mean, motivational speakers, you think, they've got it. But they had to work together.
The willingness to be transparent.
Most motivational speakers that I've ever heard have dirt, but they're not afraid of it. And that's why they're so trustworthy, in a way, when it's like, this is my stuff. And it's transparent, and it's open, and they're not afraid of the dirt. As a matter of fact, they see that their dirt is actually their superpower.
Right.
So as a musician,
It's the same thing.
what are you to the audience? You gotta enjoy the dirt, because it gives you a certain authority, musical authority.
Oh.
There's a lot of emotion trapped in those clashes and those resolutions. There's a conversation happening in the music. When it's tight and clashing, there's a conversation, there's an emotional equation that is equal to that sound that you're producing, without having to explain, and now I shall feel this way, and this is what, it just happens in a note. And then the way you move away, it's like the sun rising when you move into a consonant chord instead of this note and then that note. How the chords relate to each other and expand and contract, that's the actual conversation that you're having with the audience. Because that's what they feel. They feel the emotionality inside the chord. Shall we continue?
Yeah.
Let's sing.
Let's sing.
It's Sunday, right?
It's Sunday, yeah. Just kicking back.
All right, so let's go back into Be My Baby. Is that okay with you?
Yes, by all means,
Or
let's.
my baby, bye bye baby.
Yeah.
Natalie. All right, so what I want you to do is I want you to take the next 2 minutes in your mind and go from I'm saying, and I want you to go very deliberately and slowly through bye bye baby, remember you're my baby, when they give you the eye, although I know that you care what you write and declare, but though in the loose you're still on the square. Just that part. And I want you to plan in the things that we've worked on that are going to help you give me your peak performance. And I want you to build them into your emotions. I want to build them in the build and spin, the hearing in your head. I'll give you the pitch. I'll give you the pitch. So in your head, no out loud, because it disturbs somebody else's head. Only in your head. I want you to hear yourself at peak performance with all these tools coming together as one giant snowball. How are you going to make all of this thing make sense from note to note to note to note, and go. what you got. I'll go this speed. I say, my baby. Breathe when you need to, but don't do it at the end of, like, make sure you're breathing open-throated into the next phrase, right? 1, 2. I'm saying bye-bye, baby. Remember you're my baby. When they give you the eye, although I know that you care, won't you write and declare that though on the loose you are still on the square? If I'm gloomy, send that rainbow to me. All our shadows will fly. Though you'll be gone for a while, I know that I'll be smiling with my baby by and by. Okay, so I let you go on to see how you were going to carry it over. How did it work for you?
Not very much.
Too much tension? Okay. So, now this time I want you to I'm going to give you 2 more minutes, and I want you specifically to concentrate on how you are going to build the second half of any of your vowels and spin through to the next note. Okay?
Okay.
So in your ear, and I want you to feel it in your mouth. Feel the vowels in your mouth, feel the build that you're going to give it, the build and the spin into the next note, the energy. When you're doing that, I want you to pay attention to the fast notes as well. Exactly how much build do you have to give into those without slowing down your rhythms? You know what I'm talking about, right? The
Yes.
fast notes
Yeah.
need that much authority so that they don't disappear. So those are the 2 things I want you to focus on. 2 minutes, go. Here's your pitch. In your head. All right, there we go. That feeling that you have in your body, hang on to it. 1, 2, 3. I'm saying bye. Okay, remember? I'm saying, I'm saying, I'm saying. flow. Ready? 1, 2. Great. How was it?
Fun.
Way more successful, right? So what were a couple of anchors weighing the party down? What did you notice in your line where it's like, ooh? Because you can clock when it's like, ooh, that one I didn't nail.
The like all notes, the triple, whatever you call those.
All
The
those
fast
gone,
notes.
gone for a while,
Yeah.
gone for a while. Yeah, I noticed that one too.
Yeah.
Yeah. Did you guys notice? Gone for a while. Did you notice in the first part? There was also. I know that you care. Like the word "you" wasn't even existing. It didn't even exist. Know that care. I didn't even hear the word. Know that you care. Know that you care. Know that you care. You got to see that "you" person there. Know that you care. Know that you care. Know that you care. I know that you care. That's what you say to a person. I know that you care.
I think we're tentative on the rhythm now.
Yeah.
Yes.
It had more to
That's
do
what I
with
was
coming into
thinking.
that rhythm.
Here come the
About
judge.
the rhythm.
Although I hear come the judge. Know that you care. Right? So you needs a little bit more indicative. Know that you care. Won't you ride and declare? Right? Ride and declare. Ride and declare. Ride and declare. I am going to declare my taxes. I don't declare my taxes. Right? I'm going to declare that I love you now, said William Shatner on Secret Planet. I shall declare my love for you now.
I thought that was Spock. No, that's.
No, William Shatner, he's like a monosyllabic delivery guy. Spock had no emotions but had tone flow, Captain. Captain, I don't think you need to be on that particular planet now. Which is interesting. Spock's supposed to be emotionless and had all this absolute deliberate connection between everything that he said. But the over dramatically, you know, Captain Kirk must find dry cleaner, must find transponder. You know? So, but that's actually a really good example of how when we get into our performance mode and all of our passion, we let that authority go from our what we have at our disposal, which is our voice and the connected sounds that we make. So how do you reconcile both? Right? How do you reconcile both? You got to slow it down like this. So let's go back. I'm going to give you a minute to reconcile a couple of moments that you thought, oh, right, I was up my game on that one. You've got 60 seconds in your head to do this. In your head, reconcile your most excellent performance, by the way, this time. Where do you think you have an opportunity to expand on your excellence? And go. Ready? Spock. 1, 2.
I'm saying
So where could you see some opportunities where it's like, oh, I could add this in there?
After declare, what are you declaring?
Declare.
We talked about that yesterday.
Right,
That you write and declare that though on the loose.
right, so there's a supposition of almost like
Yeah.
a quote there. Write and declare that though on the loose you are,
Yeah.
as if it's the other person's voice, the third person voice there. As if you're reading the letter that says, hey baby, I'm there with you. So that there's a bit of a separation. You'll use different tones to be a third person. That though on the loose, because there's a certain like believability about, hey baby, you got nothing to worry about. Won't you write and declare that, hey, you got nothing to worry about. If I was saying that, I would use a different tone to reassure you, would I not? So how can you add more authority in that? Though on the loose, you are still on the square. To be that authority. How can you add space? There's some hints for you to make that happen. And now you can think of, I've got to make that happen there, or you can think of, actually, what is your character? Okay, so what are some other opportunities we can grab?
Well, if I'm gloomy, send that rainbow to me, but then the build to then our shadows, or all our shadows will fly, though you'll be gone for a while. That was like the climax of the whole message here. And
Yeah.
I think we could build to it and be bigger.
Right. So I mean, the subtext underneath that is going to inform probably what kind of tone you use. Like, it's like, if, really, the thing is like, if perchance I'm glooming, because really what's happening for that person, you at the time, it's like, you know, I know you think you're leaving me and I'm not going to do anything with my time, but while you're gone, I'm actually going to be quite busy doing a bunch of things that I want to do for myself. But, you know, so the other person doesn't feel so bad about leaving you. You just throw out the little biscuit. If perchance I find myself in a state of gloom, and in the back thought you're thinking, which is highly unlikely. I just miss you at night when we sleep sometimes. Like, you know, having space is good, you know? You understand that space is good. So if perchance there's that moment where it's like, oh shucks, I wish you were around, you know, just send me a little